It's official. Craig Berube goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs as their head coach. What do I think about this? I'll tell you more coming up here on Locked on Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked on Blues. I am your host of Locked on Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's episode, I will be talking about how the Chief is nailed to the Leafs. I will also be talking about the direction of this team and what they need to go in because there is a lot. And then, of course, are we feeling blue? Before I dive any deeper, I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Happy Friday. It is May 17th, and it is official that former Blues coach, and this pains me to say, Craig Berube is officially with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs, they get a lot out of Craig Berube. My Siri even went on because it was like, what's going on? But they get a lot out of Craig Berube. They're getting an experienced coach. And I think today I was watching a little bit of the Bruins-Panthers game on the TNT broadcast network. And, Panger, he's on the broadcast and he was talking about Chief. And it gets me a little emotional to think about because the Blues really did him wrong. I'm not saying and I'm not defending in any single way the fact that the team wasn't executing. But was it really because of Craig Berube, or was it because of the fact that they didn't make any moves this past offseason? The Maple Leafs are in a position, it's interesting, where they're not a bad team and they do have a lot of star talent. And bringing in a guy like Craig Berube is going to get them that cup that they desperately want. Berube was able to come in for us in that 2018-2019 season. We were a really bad hockey team, dead last by the end of January in the Western Conference. Like, it was bad. And yet Berube was able to get us to the Stanley Cup and bring home our first ever Stanley Cup. So a lot of my positive memories with Berube goes back to that cup year. It does. And I just remember, when he came in, I just felt like a glimmer of hope. And it gets me, as I said, a little emotional just to think about the fact that he's now with another team. And I know that he was doing some broadcasting for TNT, but now it's official. Like, he is gone. And I know that, and I know that we have Bannister, and I'm happy, that Drew Bannister gets this opportunity, and not the interim head coach title, but to be the head coach. But at the same time, there is a part of me that's just like, oh, this sucks, because what I don't want to happen selfishly is to see the Toronto Maple Leafs have success. And it's not because I don't want, Berube to have success. I do. But I knew this whole time it never had to do with anything about Craig Berube, and it had everything to do with how the Blues weren't showing up, I should say. So it is a little bit of a frustrating situation. What I will say is this, and this is where I love Colton Parayko. He said this on Craig Berube. From a technical standpoint, like X's and O's, we didn't really change a whole lot. He just came in and made sure that we put in the work and work together. He got everybody to buy into their roles. And I think that Colton Parayko said it best. That Berube came in, he worked with what he had, and he was able to get success out of it. Now, I know Leafs fans might be saying, okay, well, obviously there's a reason why he got fired. And what I'm going to say is this. You had, a team in the St. Louis Blues that just didn't have the talent that they had previously. Got rid of a lot of key players, and didn't really do anything that much in the past offseason. Berube was not going to find success with this current roster that the Blues had. And that's the reality of it. And it sucks because you could be the best coach, one of the best coaches, and yet you could still, and I hate saying the word fail, but you could still not find that success if you don't have the right roster, and that's what happened with the St. Louis Blues. Craig Berube is a very special coach. He is a coach that really knew how to highlight his players, and you saw that a lot, especially during that cup run, and he had great lines. The locker room, it was like a completely different dynamic than it is today, and there's not enough good things I can say about Craig Berube. I think that us Blues fans, yeah, we're hurting because it sucks. The whole situation was just so unfortunate because it was never Craig Berube's fault. And I will preach that forever because it wasn't. And if you think it was, I am genuinely curious about why you would think that. Because Craig Berube was an outstanding coach. He's a coach that I'm always going to defend. He's a coach, honestly, that didn't deserve what happened to him. And that's the fact. Um, oh, it just sucks. It just everyone's bringing up our cup run and talking about our 52-year drought. It just everyone is talking about that magical moment. And he is now the 32nd head coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I hate that he's actually not with us. I really do. It sucks. And, everyone's looking back at the video of him in the locker room, yelling at the players, and there we go. This is what we're getting out of him. And yes, every single media outlet decided to say, you know what? Let's upset Blues fans even more and show them Berube hoisting the Stanley Cup. It sucks because I wish we still had Berube. And I know that Bannister, there's a lot of hope for him. And this is not anything against Drew Bannister, by the way, how I feel about Craig Berube. It has everything to do with Berube was a beloved coach here in St. Louis. And I have Toronto people asking me, tell me a little bit about Berube. What's Berube like? It's simple. He is a player's coach. He is a coach that is going to get you victory. He is. I mean, there is not one other coach in the NHL that I can think of that cares about the players more than Craig Berube. And that's how he is. And I think Toronto is very lucky and very fortunate that they have him. It just it sucks. And I know that he played for the Leafs, so I'm like, "Oh, that's kinda cool, like, you're coaching for the team that you played at. Hi, Brindy." But, no, in reality, it's just one of those things where, it just obviously, it's a little infuriating. But the one thing I will say about this, though, seeing how everyone is talking about Berube, they all talk about that magical year we had when we won the cup, and if there's any positive for us Blues fans that come out of this, it is the fact that the entire world is talking about when we won the cup again. They're talking about those magical moments and our Cinderella story. And if there's any positive, it's that. It's the fact that we made an impression so big in the hockey community with how we won the cup that still to this day, people still say that was the most incredible Cinderella story in modern time. So, yes, I am happy for Berube that he has a job. I mean, I knew he was going to have a job the entire time being a head coach. There was no doubt about that. But I'm glad that one, it's against a team that we don't really have any beef with. Um, and here's the other part too. It allows Berube an opportunity to continue coaching, continue doing what he loves to do. And he couldn't do that here in St. Louis because obviously they fired him. But I hope when he comes back to Enterprise, he gets the loudest standing ovation. And when the Toronto Maple Leafs come to St. Louis, I'm going to try to go to that game and fly out because I want to applaud Craig Berube. I want to welcome him back and show him, hey, we still love you, we respect you, and thank you for all you did for this city. St. Louis would not have a Stanley Cup if it wasn't for Craig Berube. And that's what it comes down to. So thank you, Chief, and congratulations, Chief, because Toronto doesn't realize how lucky they truly are having you be their head coach. And I wish that you were here still, but obviously that is not the case because we have Drew Bannister, and nothing against Banny, by the way, but nothing but love for Berube. Game time, game time. Gametime is an ticket marketing place of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to tip off, with killer last minute deals, all in prices and views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Pick out any specific game that you want to go to and that you want to attend, and watch those ticket prices drop as close as it gets to tip off, okay? And this also works for high profile events as well. So I know when our cards are playing some good teams, I know we played the Dodgers already. But if we're playing any other team that's like really hot in the MLB, it's going to go down because Gametime knows how to do ticketing right. So you get those last minute ticket deals, you get flash zone deals, you get zone deals, you get all in pricing. That's right. The taxes are actually added to the pricing. You get seat views. So you can actually see from your seat, if you get that seat, what you're going to see. The lowest price guarantee and Gametime ticketing coverage, okay? So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The direction of the Blues. Well, first off, I'm going to say this. The Blues should have a sense of what direction they're going into now. They have a head coach in Drew Bannister. They know that their defense was horrendous this past season. So there is a lot that they need to work on, the power play, the penalty kill. The Blues need to also think younger. Now, yesterday I proposed the question, is 32 old in the NHL? And I know what you're thinking. Hale, bunch of good 30-plus-year-old guys playing in the NHL. Valid. But you cannot have an entire team full of 30-plus-year-olds. You need younger talent. And that's why this offseason, the Blues need to look for those younger guys. I broke down a list of the guys that I really liked under the age of 30 that could be really good fits to the team that will be unrestricted free agents. And the biggest, I guess, factor you can say is that all of these players that are successful under the age of 30, some of them don't come at a high cost because for whatever reason, there's an aspect of their game that they're not playing that well in. And I don't care about, a two-way defender. That's what everyone always says. We need a two-way defender. How about you just get a guy that's really good in the D zone, okay? Why can't we just focus on that? Why is it always, oh, we need a two-way defender? Just get the best defender you can get. We have Colton Parayko that leads the NHL in block shots. Okay? Huge. You need to pair him up with talent that is going to complement his style of play. You need to get power play specialists. You need to get penalty kill specialists. You need to get guys that are going to come in and do their job. I don't want any more of this. Oh, well, he has potential. Does he have potential? If you're not developing a player that just got drafted and you're going to tell me, oh, well, he might have potential and he's almost 30 years old, it's not going to work out. And that's the truth. And again, I'm not calling these guys old. There's a difference between old and hockey old. And what frustrates me is the continuous excuses. We just need to develop him. He's 27. What do you mean develop him? Now, if you're saying that about an 18, 19, 20-year-old, even 21-year-old, okay, I would say to you, valid. Yeah, he could have some developmental time. Absolutely. But if you're telling me that about a guy that's almost 30, it's just not going to work. And I'm not digging anybody on the Blues. I'm just saying a general statement that I am so sick of giving players excuses when they just simply are not cutting it. And you can like a player off the ice, and I will always preach and say this, but have to accept the fact that they just might not be the best fit on the ice. And that's a hard concept for some people because you can't get past the fact that a player that you saw potential in isn't cutting it. So the Blues need to let those sides go. If there's a player, and again, I'm not naming names, but if there's a player that management sees and they're like, you know what? We invested time into this guy, obviously money, and they're not cutting it, trade him. Relieve some of that cap space, baby, and get somebody in that will be more beneficial to your roster because maybe that player will succeed on another team. But I am so sick of keeping guys just for the sake of, oh, well, we like him. Okay, well, I like winning, I like success. And sometimes it just is not cutting it. So is it harsh? A little bit, but is it the truth? It is. And at the end of the day, the truth outweighs the harshness. And if you don't like that, then it is what it is. All right, let's go talk about my friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only. Available to U.S. customers. It is an Are We Feeling Blue Friday, and I was not expecting to feel the way I did today because of the whole Craig Berube news. So this episode was a little bit later than usual because I had to repurpose all my material because I knew today was going to be about Berube. How am I feeling? I'm feeling sentimental today. I am feeling very lucky um, that I was able to enjoy my afternoon looking at all these articles and posts, including our Stanley Cup win. I am very thankful for the fact that, the Blues were this, huge story that came out of the NHL. And I just felt very respected today as an organization. I saw nothing but positive things said about the Blues and our win. And this is the thing, St. Louis, no one is ever going to take away the fact that we won the Stanley Cup. That is ours to keep forever. And Craig Berube is one of the main pieces that got us that win. He's one of the main reasons why we won the Stanley Cup. So to Craig Berube, on behalf of all of St. Louis, I know I can speak for all of St. Louis when I say this. Thank you. Thank you for giving the Blues a Stanley Cup. Thank you for giving us this amazing magical story, this amazing magical run that for years to come we will always talk about. Craig Berube, you will always be loved and respected here in St. Louis, no matter what. There are very few people I think that we can look back on as an organization where we can say they will always have our endless love and support. Kelly Chase comes to my mind. But there are very, very few people. And I think Craig Berube is one of those few people that I, I don't want to get emotional, y'all. But when we won that Stanley Cup, that game 7 against those Boston Bruins, um, that was one of the best moments of my life. And I think that we all held on to that win for a while. We all held on to, the players on that roster. We held on to obviously Berube. And I know eventually everything changes season to season. But 5 years, life goes by and a lot happens in life during that time. So while it sucks for us, I am so happy for Craig Berube that he gets to coach still. Um, but most importantly, St. Louis, we will win another cup soon. We have great talent. We really have potential. And until we win another cup, we're always going to have that magical run. We're always going to remember the hand pass and how much that infuriated us. And we're always going to remember that Game 7 victory over the Boston Bruins. And that will never be taken away from us. But it is thanks to one person, and that is Chief Craig Berube. So on that note, congratulations, Chief. We miss you. We respect you, and we cannot wait to applaud you when you come back to St. Louis and to Toronto. If you're watching any Maple Leafs fans, you were very lucky to have Craig Berube. Well, this was an interesting way to end the week, but I will talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, St. Louis. And until then, like always, can I get a let's go Blues?